Welcome to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family, what's going on, to the Universal African Peoples Organization, what's happening, and to the New Life Evangelistic Center. Keep up the great work led by Reverend Rice, as well as a shout out to our cameraman. This evening, like always, we'll have another great show, and in studio with me is a beautiful intellectual young lady named J. Marie, who is a upcoming author as well as founder of Patchwork Theory Publishing Company. Welcome to Conversations with Zaki Baruti.
Hello, thank you for having me.
When we begin each of our shows, I'd like for my thousands of viewers to know a little bit about the guest. So will you please share some background information on yourself?
Okay, I was born and raised here in St. Louis. On the south side, I attended Gateway Christian School near the corner of Lafayette and Jefferson. I left and I vowed never to come back, but the Lord saw fit that I did come back. I lived the last 13 years in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had two wonderful children. They are here with me now, enjoying the University City School District. I am the daughter of Reverend Kevin M. Kosh, the pastor at Beloved Community United Methodist Church. I have been through a lot in my young years. I currently suffer with multiple sclerosis, and I am, praise God, very well functioning. I am of sound body and mind, and I believe that I am truly walking through my testimony. I've always been a writer. I sing, and I write, and I draw, and I do poetry, and I do spoken word, and that was all. I've always felt like I had a gift of words. And last year, I decided to no longer give myself the excuse of having kids or being sick or being in school as a reason why I shouldn't write and share my message. I talk to people all the time, every day, and everyone is like, you should do these things, and I'm finally getting down into words on paper what it is that is on my heart to say to other people in this community.
And in that spirit, a couple of things. When you mentioned multiple sclerosis, how long have you been diagnosed with that, if I may ask?
I have been diagnosed currently for about 8 years. It took me literally until last year to be fully accepting of it. I did not fully understand it when I was first diagnosed with it because I was not having any symptoms until last year, where that sent me to the doctor. And I did not tell my doctor that I had previously been diagnosed with MS when I was in Atlanta, because I wanted them to come to their own conclusions about it. And so last year was when it was I fully accepted that I did in fact have it, because it was explained to me in a way that made sense to me. Whereas before, they gave me the diagnosis, but they were like, you either have MS or you have lupus or diabetes, and they were like, since you tested negatively for lupus and diabetes, we're gonna go ahead and guess it's MS. I'm like, doctors shouldn't tell me that they're guessing.
Right.
So and when they put me on the medication, they were like, you're gonna be on this for life. But they were like, it does not slow down the disorder. The medication will not treat it, and if you have an outbreak, it won't alleviate your symptoms. I'm like, why am I taking it? They were like, because there are some tests that says it works for some people. I was like, that's not good enough. So I don't think I was accepting of it. My family and friends weren't accepting of it. And the fact that I was fully well functioning, it made me believe that maybe I was misdiagnosed. But as of this year, I'm like, okay, I'm accepting what this is. But again, like I said, I feel like I'm walking through my testimony because I'm living proof that it does not have to be any sort of way.
And this kind of like took me off the script when you said that. Just for our listening audience, what are some of the symptoms, if I may?
Actually, it is. I think that's one of the hardest things, because even the doctors say that you actually have to have MS for a while, because there's several different types. I have relapsing and remitting, but then there's the ongoing and continuous MS, where It could cause complete debilitation. You could become all but paraplegic because of this disorder. What sent me to the hospital the first time, or at least to the doctor, was I experienced numbness from the chest to my feet, but it felt more like my body was asleep than it was like I couldn't feel it. I was still working out, still running, still raising my kids by myself. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I just felt like nothing was going to happen. But what sent me back to the hospital this time was blurred vision, and when I would go running, my legs would go numb and limp.
Okay, well, again, my prayers are with you, and you have a story to really share in terms of the experiences. Was that one of the motivating factors for you writing the book that's will be released shortly, and what would be the title of the book?
The book that's going to be released in September is called 3 Simple Words: Solving Life's Greatest Problems in 3 Words or Less. It was not a motivation for that book in particular, as I do plan to write a book with my children based on me and my diagnosis of MS, because they're living. Anybody that has a disorder, you are in that disorder with your close family and friends. The 3 Simple Words is a motivational book, so it's about you getting out of your own way and accomplishing what it is that is meant for you to accomplish.
You mean getting out? You mean people are in their own way trying to accomplish something or not accomplishing something?
Absolutely.
Well, share your theory on that.
As it will say, if you go to the website or just in general, we make things complicated. We talk ourselves into and out of things over and over again. But at the end of the day, you already know what your answer is going to be. Like I say, it's like you're like, oh, I need to work out and I need to eat better. I need to lose weight. And it's like, just do it. Do it already. It's like, you know what it is that you want to do. It's like, but I'm not motivated. Do it anyway. It's like you could really have a whole conversation with yourself or with other people in 3-word phrases. Like you already know what it is. And there are certain things that are self-talks, because the book is divided into 3 different sections. There are choices that we make, which is the things is like, somebody gives you a job offer, for example. That's a choice that you have to make. There are decisions that you make, which are things that, which goes back to your health. That's a personal decision that you have to make. And then there's self-talk. You have to get out of your own way when you have to motivate yourself from the inside, because some things are definitely more internal than external. I know as a person who has dealt with a lot of things in my life, you can't really just depend on somebody else.
On that note, we're going to pick up the rest of that conversation on the flip side of our break.
I want to thank God for each and every one of you that are supporting NLEC TV, the work of the New Life Evangelistic Center, and making it all possible so we can have conversations with Zaki on the air along with the other programming that's on NLEC TV. Not only we discover that at 24.2, but I actually watch it on my cell phone at a very special app that we have of NLEC TV, and you can just pull it up. It's so easy that everybody can watch it anywhere. So wherever I travel, I can be watching this program and other programs. Now, all this is possible only because of caring people like you that are sharing those much-needed tax-deductible gifts at this time with the New Life Evangelistic Center. We have a lot of things that are unfolding at this moment. We're continuing to help multitudes of people, not only throughout Mid-America, but as far away as India and Africa and other locations around the world. And we really do need your help. After they closed down 1411 Locust, we're continuing to help the homeless directly out on the streets every week. We're out in the mayor's window distributing bus tickets and other direct supplies. We have regular events out in front of 1411 Locust, and we're working actually through the legal, the mediation, the advocacy, and getting prayer warriors to pray that we can reopen 1411 Locust in the near future. But we need your involvement at this particular moment. And your gifts to the New Life Evangelistic Center make such a big difference. You can send that to P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166, or you can give online through the PayPal system at newlifeevangelisticcenter.org or NLEC STL. I ask you to continue to stand with us right now as we continue to bring many programs like Conversation with Zaki to you, but we need your help.
How important are St. Louis Metro passes to the needy?
These bus tickets help me get to my pregnancy class, my daughter to see her, look for work. I'm really thankful for them. Thank you.
To provide stability and permanent change to the homeless, they need jobs. But how do they get transportation to look for work when they have no money? And when they find a job, how will they get there? Become a part of NLEC's Metro Pass program and help bring enduring change to a life.
Bus tickets may not sound like a big thing to some people, but when you have no transportation and you're working with a very limited budget, these bus tickets are a tremendous blessing. I have doctor's appointments that I have to attend, going to seek jobs and putting in applications. I really would like you to understand the importance and the need for this ministry, and anything that you can do to keep this ministry going. Please know that it is an extension of God's love.
And you also are getting some bus tickets, is that right?
It helps out walking because everywhere you go, it's like a few hours each way, and people don't understand it's freezing out there. We might have coats and everything, but it doesn't help out as much as everyone thinks they do.
So getting the bus tickets are a big help to you.
Yes, very much help.
And I say thank you to all of you that are praying, caring, and sharing at this time so we can help so many.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Jay Marie, a upcoming author whose book is going to be officially on the market in September. And
Yes.
again, the title of the book?
It's 3 simple words.
Three simple words. 3 simple words, and those words are?
They're not, the 3 simple words it's a series of things. So it's 3-word phrases that will get you through life's difficult problems. It depends, because problems are many. The 3 simple words are also many.
Okay.
But it's not one phrase of simple words.
Now, are you self-publishing the book?
Yes, I
And
am.
in case somebody is listening and want to become an author, what are your recommendations in terms of if they need to self-publish?
I think that the first thing is to find yourself a good support team of sorts, like both in a literary sense, like find yourself a good editor, find yourself a good graphic artist, find yourself a good balancing board, people to throw your ideas off of. I definitely believe in talking to people, because sometimes just in talking to people now, I will tell a story that I know there's going to be a book, but they have no idea, and they're like, that should be a book, and I'm like, okay, that's confirmation. But also, I know there are resources that if you're limited on funds, like I am most of the time, there are resources like Fiverr.com where you can find freelance writers, authors, graphic novelists, editors. You can find people that are in the same industry that you need, and their prices are very reasonable. Then to do some research, which is also one of my 3-word statements, is do your own homework. You can't pass the test based on somebody else's homework. What works for one person will not work for everybody. So it's definitely this idea of do your homework on self-publishing. I know that Simon & Schuster's, which is a larger publishing, they actually do have a program for self-publishers where they will give you all the tips and tools that you need, from anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000.
Now, you have a website and you created Patchwork Theory Publishing. Share
Yes.
with our audience the concept behind.
When you go to the website, it definitely tells you about what patchwork theory is. It's this idea and this belief that we are not just a single swatch of cloth. We are made up of our childhood, our past, our histories, our futures, our hopes, our dreams. They go far beyond just a singular thing. We are in and of ourselves our own patchwork quilt, and there's this idea of that we as people can connect to become a greater blanket of peace and hope for other people, because we are far more alike than we are different.
So with that said, on your website, I know you have different components to the website.
I call those patches.
All the patches to put together that quilt, okay then. And on the website, you deal with health and wellness. Address that whole issue, health and wellness, from your perspective there.
I did spend a year in nursing school. Because I suffer with MS, I feel like I'm educating myself. Also, I am a person that believes strongly in openness and honestness. For 10 years, I suffered with an eating disorder, and I now am a leader of OA group meetings. But it's the idea that there is no healing in secrecy. And again, we are far more alike. There is somebody that can help you in your situation. And so I wanted to be a physical fitness trainer at one point, because I do believe that people will do what they are motivated to do. People do what they want to do and what they have to do. And so I definitely believe in health. Honestly, I went to nursing school thinking that I would love to be a holistic nurse, mostly because I don't believe in big medicine at this point. They call it big pharma, because I don't believe that medicines are structured to actually heal. They are structured to band-aid and to leave you dependent.
So, in that health and wellness, I guess that touches upon you also projecting as a life coach.
Absolutely.
Share with us your concepts around that.
I would love to believe that I specialize in health as a life coach, because again, I do believe that people really just want to talk. I think that they want to feel like they are in a safe place where they can talk to other people about their health and their insecurities with themselves and their personal situations. I get it that people feel like they want to keep their personal lives personal, but health is one of those things that it affects everybody, especially in today's society. So I do life coaching on career counseling and relationship counseling, because I feel like I've done so many things. I've been married. I've been divorced. I'm going through the aftermath of that. I've been to college numerous times. I'm working on my doctorate right now.
Oh, okay.
So I can do education. I've been a mentor. I am starting my own business. I've had several business concepts that I wanted to get off the ground that I definitely believe that I will touch on.
Now, within that Patchwork Theory publishing company, you also will be dealing with a publication of fiction and nonfiction. You're talking about publishing books that's around those concepts, fiction and nonfiction. You want to touch that?
The nonfiction titles are typically they're loosely based on life, because I believe that life is stranger than fiction, as they say. There's so much in a fiction novel that is really not fictional at all. So to base it in life is it makes it easier to write. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. We'll stop for a minute to go to a break, and we'll be right back, and we'll pick up.
I hope you're enjoying the Zaki Baruti Show, and I thank God for each one of you that are praying and working with us to get back into the 1411 Locust Building, one of the greatest acts of discrimination in modern history, as we see a 5-story facility shut down because neighbors didn't want to see those kind of people in the neighborhood, as they refer to them at. Those kind of people, as they refer to them at, are actually individuals that are made in the image of God, who Jesus said, as often you've done to the least of these, he said, even so you've done it unto me. As you share a gift of $10 or more with the New Life Evangelistic Center, you're not only helping New Life Evangelistic Center to get back into 1411 Locust Street, but you're helping so many of the hurting and the homeless in so many different ways. And as you share your gift, please request your copy of Through the Fire. It tells you the whole story of steps that were taken by the rich and powerful to shut down 1411 Locust. Now we're working to get back in there, and it will happen as you pray, as you get directly involved. So as you share your gift, be sure you ask for a copy of Through the Fire, and know that by giving, caring, and sharing at this time, you're helping so many people that are in need.
If you can't receive NLEC TV on channel 24.2 on your TV, you can watch us on your home computer or laptop, anywhere in the world. Simply type in NLEC TV, then select NLEC TV support and click on the small NLEC TV on the right of the menu bar. Click on the play indicator to start the live programming, the same programming as 24.2. You can then enlarge the picture and enjoy your favorite programs like the NLEC Worship with Larry Rice, The Bernie Hayes Show, Experience the Benefits of Change with Pastor Burris, Conversations with Zaki Baruti, News and Views, and so much more.
Can you hear the music of creation?
NLEC TV is also available on all mobile devices such as smartphones and iPads. By getting the NLEC TV app, you can enjoy NLEC TV anywhere you go.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is J. Marie, a brilliant and beautiful young lady who is an upcoming author in September. If anybody is interested in your book, how would they be able to access it?
If you go to my website at patchworktheorypublishing.com, the book is available for pre-sale at this time. I also anticipate having a book release sometime shortly after its official online release, probably at University City Public Library.
And again, your website for people to go on the website, what is it?
Patchworktheorypublishing.com.
And you have different components there. One of the components, and we were talking about a variety of components, was erotica. Uh-oh.
The naughty bits. It's funny that I'm realizing in my adult life that things of that nature are also one of the things that people like to keep secret. And it's like, and I hate to use the cliche of everybody's doing it, but it's the idea of we are definitely we are sexual beings in nature. And no, it's not necessarily 50 Shades of Grey, but it's the idea that if we don't talk about it, that doesn't mean it's not happening. And to have a book that expresses that it is something that happens, and the one book that I was already starting to work on, there's a sample of said book on the website. It is actually honestly one Christian girl's journey through the desires. It's called Want Not, which ironically enough sounds like it should be one of the 10 Commandments, but it's kind of the idea of going through this Christian journey where you're told that this is something that you shouldn't do, you shouldn't have, but
shouldn't have what?
You shouldn't have sexual thoughts. You shouldn't have desire, but that would make you inhuman.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. That's a good point. So with that said, early on off air, we had, I just want to go back when you were just sharing with your physical condition. God, I believe in the Creator. Mm-hmm. And you have had a real deep experience in terms of maybe not even being here, in terms of death could have been upon you at a point in your life. Would you like to share the audience with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I definitely believe that God has me here for a purpose. In 2008, I was supposed to get married, and my then fiance, he had gotten the call to be deployed to Operation not the 9/11. So he was going to Iraq. It started that we were going to get married when he came back. That was going to be a year later. And then it was that he was going to be a December break. But then it was like I have 4 days in Texas before they sent me over. And so we decided we were going to elope. I made all the arrangements. I got off of work at 10 o'clock, and I got in the shower. I took a no-dose and a cappuccino, and I got in the car. I had literally just gotten my license.
And you were leaving from where?
Leaving from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, heading to where?
Fort Hood, Texas.
Okay, all right.
About a 9-hour travel. And I decided to get in the car and go. And I was driving at 85 miles an hour on cruise control. I had just stopped at the gas station. I had the music on, and I just remember seemingly waking up, and I'm like, oh, the car's spinning, and I went back to sleep. Then when I woke up again, there were medics asking me my name and where I was headed. And lo and behold, that was the first car that happened upon me. I had run into a tree.
So you had crashed into a tree. Mm-hmm. At midnight.
At midnight in Meridian, Mississippi. And when I'm traveling now, I just think of the bridges and the ditches and the ravines that I could have fallen into, and I was like, God didn't have that for me. I had broken up pretty much all of my ribs. I had punctured my lung and ruptured my spleen. The doctors were really adamant. They weren't sure if I was going to walk when I got up, and they were calling in specialists from all over. They were like, you'll probably be here for 6 months. I walked out of that hospital in 13 days, and I was
Wow.
nothing but God for the ambulance to be the first vehicle to find me after said
The
accident.
very first.
The very first vehicle to find me. I would have bled out otherwise.
So your plans of eloping and being married were derailed.
It was not derailed as my ex-husband, well, he's my ex-husband now, my husband and my father, they somehow, between the two of them, managed to shut down Meridian, Mississippi, and I got married in the ICU of Rush Hospital. The nurses, I argue that they were my bridesmaids.
Wow, that's a fascinating story. And speaks to, again, God. Okay, on that note, we don't have to take our last break.
An epidemic of homelessness is sweeping throughout the United States of America. In city after city, people are ending up on the streets. Now, instead of feeling overwhelmed, as believers, we can do three things. We can give, we can volunteer, and we can pray. We can pray for the homeless refugees that we're finding in one city after another, all over the United States. So many people ending up out on the streets, and the hearts of so many are growing cold at this particular time and indifferent to the need. Jesus said, as often as you've done it to the least of these, he said, even so you've done it unto me. When's the last time you've prayed for the homeless refugees in the United States of America, appearing in city after city, not only in major cities, but even smaller cities? So many people ending up out on the streets, even in resort areas, places you never think you'd find homeless people, they're there. Jesus said, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but he, the Son of Man, had nowhere to lay his head. Please pray for the refugees. Please pray for the homeless people in America. And pray for those that are on the front lines, the first responders, reaching out through Jesus Christ among the homeless and hurting, whether it's in Springfield or St. Louis. Your prayers and gifts to the New Life Evangelistic Center makes a big difference. This New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, is 63166.
2 Timothy 1, verse 10.
But it has now been revealed through the appearing of our Savior, Jesus Christ, who has destroyed death and has brought life and immortality to light through the gospel.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me for the last couple minutes is a young lady, author-to-be, up in September, and that's Miss J. Marie. And I would be remiss in terms of on your website, you also deal with the subject of politics and activism, because, you know, I'm an activist. I'm a former candidate for public office. What are you addressing in that component?
I discovered when I was I went to a PTO meeting and we were talking about the civil rights movement and how a lot of it started in St. Louis. I don't know if everybody got an opportunity, if you live in St. Louis, to actually go to the History Museum when they were doing the Black History thing. And a lot of civil rights, before it was called civil rights, started in St. Louis. And
I was part of that exhibit. All right, I had to just put that in there.
You were part of the exhibit?
Yeah.
You're ancient?
I'm in there. Oh, not ancient, no, I'll take that. All right, go ahead, though.
But
around the Ferguson uprising.
Gotcha.
Okay, go ahead.
But we did the PTO at my children's school in U City. They did a book group that was talking about the civil rights movement and how it affected St. Louis. And we had the children go off to one side and the parents were to another side, and the parents were talking, and it was like, we don't know how to talk to our children about this thing. And I said in my heart, I was like, we don't need to figure out how we can talk to them. We need to figure out how we can allow them to talk to us. And we went over to the children, and they had a lot of different ideas and concepts. And it dawned on me that the children, little kids, my kids are 7 and 9, it's like they are going to be held accountable to laws that they don't have any say-so in.
Okay, and
so I wanted to make a program specifically for the youth to write letters to the lawmakers to say, this doesn't make sense. This is not being equally applied to all people of all races and types. So,
and you're doing that now?
I plan to make it launch as soon as school starts back.
Right.
I've already talked to a lot of the PTO members, and so everybody's on board for it. I've talked to a lot of people at the library, like the general university city population, and they are very much on board with the children writing to these lawmakers to make it make sense.
The time is just about over for us. It's been real great, and I look forward
Thank
to
you.
having you on when you officially come out with your book. And I will kindly open up the invite for you to, again, be in the same chair, okay?
Thank you so much.
And on that note, we want to thank you for listening. And like always, I encourage everybody to join a progressive organization, join the Universal African Peoples Organization. God bless each and every one of you.